Have you ever wondered why one mom can watch her adult child make a choice she completely disagrees with and still sleep at night and have a healthy relationship with that child, while another mom lies awake at 2 a.m., replaying the situation over and over and over, imagining everything that could go wrong? Today, I want to talk to you about how to be the first mom and not the second mom who's obsessing over her adult child's choices. And I want to talk to you about mistakes that you want to avoid. Maybe your son keeps going back into a relationship that you believe is unhealthy. Maybe your daughter is making financial or parenting or career choices that scare you. And no matter how many times you tell yourself, she's just an adult, this is his life, you cannot stop thinking about it. Because the difference isn't how much these two moms love their children, it's what they believe their kids' choices mean and what they believe is their responsibility to control. Because telling yourself, I just need to stop worrying about her, usually doesn't work. And if it did, you would have stopped a long time ago. Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm a Christian life coach. And I help women uncover the hidden beliefs that are underneath their overthinking and their insecurity and people pleasing so they can become peaceful and secure in Christ, so that you can go to bed with peace instead of regret and be fully present with your family instead of being trapped in your own thoughts. So you can enjoy life instead of constantly trying to figure out how to fix everything. And if you're obsessing over your adult child, I want you to look for these three mistakes because one of them may be keeping you stuck in unhealthy patterns. So, mistake number one is this: taking responsibility for an outcome you cannot control. Sometimes what looks like worry is actually an attempt to control the future. If I could just get him to see what I see, maybe I need to explain it one more time. If she would just listen to me, I could finally relax. But do you hear what's underneath that? My child needs to make the decision I believe is right before I can be at peace. And as long as you believe that, your peace is going to rise and fall with the choices of another adult. It can also cause you to overfunction. You rescue and fix, and you keep giving advice. You say yes when you really want to say no because you're afraid of how your child might react. So here's the question: have you made your peace dependent on an outcome you can't control? And if you recognize that this is showing up in your boundaries, maybe you have a hard time saying no because you feel guilty or you're afraid of disappointing people. I created a guide that'll help you. It's called Say No Without Guilt, a Christian Woman's Guide to Confident Boundaries. I'll put that in the link below. But there's another mistake that's even harder to recognize. Mistake number two is making your adult child's approval the source of your security. Sometimes we're not only afraid of the decision our child is making, we're afraid of what might happen to our relationship with them if we don't go along with it. Maybe you think, if I tell her what I really think, she won't want to be around me. If I stop helping him, he'll think I'm a terrible mother. What if I set a boundary and she pulls away? And suddenly, you're not just trying to protect your child, you're trying to protect yourself from rejection. And that's a completely different problem. Because now there may be a hidden belief underneath all of this that says, I need my adult child to be happy with me in order for me to feel good about myself. And you can tell yourself all day long, I shouldn't care what she thinks. But if you still believe her rejection says something about your worth as a mother or your worth as a woman, you're going to keep struggling. So ask yourself, am I afraid that if I stop pleasing and rescuing or agreeing with my adult child, I could lose their approval or even the relationship? Mistake number three is letting your fear become louder than what you know to be true about God. When you're worried about your adult child, fear can start sounding incredibly convincing. What if she ruins her life? What if he never changes? What if this gets worse? And the more you rehearse those worst case scenarios, the bigger the problem becomes in your mind, and the smaller God can begin to seem. And this is where our faith becomes incredibly important. Psalm 37 gives us a completely different perspective. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safety in Christ. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He'll give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord, trust Him. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Don't fret, it only leads to evil. Do you hear that contrast? Fear keeps pulling your attention back to your child and everything that could go wrong, but the Bible keeps turning your attention back to the Lord. Trust Him, delight in Him, commit your way to Him, be still before Him. And God's at work in all things according to His purposes. So there's no room for discouragement or worry, just humble worship and peace because He's sovereign. But here's what's important. You can believe God's sovereign and still find yourself lying awake at 2 o'clock in the morning, wondering about your daughter, worried about your son. You can know your son is an adult and still feel compelled to fix his life. You can know your identity is in Christ and still feel crushed when your child pulls away. Why? Because knowing biblical truth isn't always the same as uncovering those hidden lies and beliefs that you're actually living from. And that's the deeper work. Maybe your biggest problem isn't simply my adult child is making choices I don't like. Maybe it's I've unknowingly made my peace and security dependent on what my adult child chooses to do. And by the way, if you're a woman who looks like you have it all together and you're trying to meet everyone's needs, but between work stress and family commitments and worrying about your adult kids, you're tired of trying to figure this out on your own and you want help right now, I've opened up a few spots in my schedule, and you can stop managing your relationships out of fear and start enjoying them with peace and security in Christ. I want to save you years of worry so you can have healthier relationships with your adult kids right now. Click the link below and we can set up a time to talk. Take care.